We have this peculiar idea that Christmas is supposed to feel like joy wrapped in tinsel and topped with a bow. But I don't mean the commercial version of joy, the forced smiles over unwanted gifts and the manufactured cheer. I mean when you really begin to see how some of us experience a kind of existential dread as December arrives, like watching a tidal wave approach while everyone else is excitedly building sandcastles. And here's what nobody tells you. That dread isn't a defect in your character, it's a signal, a wisdom your body and psyche are trying to communicate. Do you feel it too? That tightening in your chest when someone asks about your holiday plans? Let me paint you a picture. It's mid-November, and already the world is transforming. The music begins, those same 12 songs on eternal repeat. The decorations appear like a viral infection spreading through every shop window, every office corridor, every social media feed. And while everyone around you seems to be lighting up with anticipation, you feel something entirely different. A weight, a heaviness, perhaps even a sense of impending doom. Nobody tells you this, but you're not alone in feeling this way. There are millions of us, introverts, empaths, highly sensitive souls, who experience Christmas not as the most wonderful time of the year, but as an endurance test, a gauntlet of overstimulation, forced socialization, and emotional performance. Do you ever feel like you're watching everyone else celebrate through a thick pane of glass? Do you ever wonder if there's something fundamentally wrong with you for not feeling what you're supposed to feel? Here's where it gets interesting. What if everything we've been taught about Christmas, about joy, about family, about connection, is backwards? What if your dread is actually a more honest response than the manufactured enthusiasm surrounding you? Let me share with you 5 profound truths about why some of us dread Christmas, and why that dread is far more spiritually intelligent than we've been led to believe. Truth 1. The sensory assault on the sensitive soul. The first thing you must understand is this. Christmas is a sensory invasion designed for the neurologically typical, and if you're a highly sensitive person, your nervous system experiences it as a prolonged assault. Think about it clearly. From late November through early January, the world cranks up its volume by about 40 decibels. The music, piped through every public space at volumes designed to penetrate conversation and thought. The visual chaos, flashing lights, clashing colors, crowded stores engineered to overwhelm your decision-making capacity. The olfactory overload, cinnamon, pine, peppermint, artificial vanilla, all competing for dominance in your nasal passages. The tactile overload, scratchy sweaters you're expected to wear, hugs from relatives who don't understand personal space, the texture of wrapping paper that sets your teeth on edge. It's like trying to meditate in the middle of a carnival. Your nervous system, which is already processing the world at a higher resolution than most people, is now being asked to process more stimulation, more demands, more intensity, while simultaneously being told you should be enjoying yourself. I once knew someone who described Christmas as wearing sandpaper clothing while attending a concert played at painful volumes in a room that's too hot, surrounded by people who keep asking why you're not dancing. That's not poetic exaggeration. That's the literal neurological experience of a sensitive system during the holiday season. Here's the profound part. Your nervous system isn't broken for responding this way. It's actually working perfectly. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do, protecting you from overwhelm by sending danger signals. The tragedy is that we've been taught to override these signals, to smile through the discomfort, to gaslight ourselves into believing we should feel differently than we do. This is why the dread begins weeks in advance. Your body is remembering, it's anticipating the overload, and that anticipation is not weakness, it's wisdom. Truth 2. The performance of joy. The second, even more insidious truth is this. Christmas demands that we perform an emotion on command, and sensitive souls can smell that inauthenticity like smoke in a theater. We're not just expected to be happy during Christmas, we're expected to demonstrate happiness in very specific socially prescribed ways. You must smile with the correct degree of enthusiasm. You must express gratitude with the appropriate level of effusiveness. You must participate in traditions with visible joy, regardless of how you actually feel. You must open gifts with surprise and delight, even when you'd rather be left alone with a book. Think of it as a stage play where everyone has agreed to pretend the emperor is wearing clothes and you're the only one who can see he's naked. The collective delusion is so powerful that pointing out the nakedness makes you the problem. Do you feel that instant judgment when you admit you don't love Christmas? That subtle but unmistakable message that you're a Grinch, a Scrooge, a spoiler of joy? Here's what happens in nature. Animals don't fake their emotional states. A bird doesn't sing when it's exhausted to please other birds. A deer doesn't pretend to be less frightened than it is to fit in with the herd. But humans, we've been trained to override our authentic emotional responses in service of social harmony. And Christmas is the Olympics of emotional performance. I want you to consider this situation. You're sitting around a table with family opening gifts. Someone gives you something you don't want, don't need, and would never have chosen for yourself. But you smile, you hug them, you say, "Oh, this is perfect." And in that moment, you've betrayed yourself. You've chosen social acceptance over internal truth. And your psyche knows it. Your body knows it. That's where the dread lives, in the accumulated weight of all those micro-betrayals. Here's what this all means. Your dread of Christmas might actually be your soul's refusal to participate in collective dishonesty. It's your integrity speaking. The part of you that values authentic connection over performative togetherness is staging a revolt. And that's actually beautiful if you can see it clearly. Truth 3. The forced intimacy paradox. The third thing, which is perhaps the most painful, is this. Christmas forces intimacy with people we may not actually be intimate with, and this creates a profound dissonance in those of us who value genuine connection. Let me explain what I mean. Intimacy, real intimacy, is earned through time, trust, vulnerability, and mutual understanding. It cannot be manufactured by a calendar date. It cannot be produced on demand because December 25th has arrived. Yet Christmas operates on the assumption that shared biology or shared history automatically equals shared closeness. You're expected to gather with family members you may have very little in common with. You're expected to feel warmth towards people who may have hurt you, neglected you, or simply never really known you. You're expected to create memories in environments that feel anything but safe or nurturing. And if you resist this forced intimacy, if you set boundaries or choose differently, you're cast as the villain in the family narrative. It's like being handed a garden of weeds and being told it's a rose garden, then being blamed when you can't smell the roses. For empaths especially, this is excruciating. You can feel the undercurrents, the resentments, the unspoken tensions, the performance of family unity that masks genuine disconnection. You can sense that Uncle John is alcoholic and no one is naming it. You can feel that your mother is disappointed in your life choices, even as she smiles. You can perceive the entire emotional architecture of dysfunction that everyone else has agreed to ignore. Even Jesus walked away from crowds to be alone. Even the Buddha left his family to find truth. The wisdom traditions understand something our culture has forgotten. Solitude is not antisocial. Boundaries are not cruelty, and chosen family can be more sacred than biological obligation. Watch what happens when you tell someone you're spending Christmas alone by choice. Watch the pity, the concern, the subtle judgment. "Oh, you poor thing, nobody should be alone at Christmas." But what if being alone is exactly what your soul needs? What if solitude is your way of honoring the sacred? What if you're choosing authentic peace over performed togetherness? Here's the profound secret. Connection that's forced isn't connection at all. It's theater. And your dread is your psyche's way of saying, "I want real intimacy," or "I want honest solitude, but I cannot bear this performance anymore." That's not antisocial. That's spiritually mature. Truth 4. The grief that Christmas illuminates. And the fourth thing, the most critical of all, is this. Christmas doesn't create grief, it reveals it. It shines a spotlight on every absence, every loss, every way your life doesn't match the cultural fantasy. Think about what Christmas represents in our collective mythology. Perfect families gathered around perfect tables in perfect homes, radiating perfect love. It's Norman Rockwell's fantasy made mandatory. And when your reality doesn't match that fantasy, when there's an empty chair at the table, when your family is fractured, when you're alone not by choice but by circumstance, when you're estranged from those you once loved, when you're childless in a child-centric holiday, when you're single in a celebration of partnership, when you're grieving a death, a divorce, a dream that died. Christmas becomes a cruel mirror. The decorations and music and forced cheer don't cover your grief, they amplify it. It's like turning up the brightness on a photograph that already hurts to look at. Do you feel that? The way Christmas makes your griefs feel more acute? The way it highlights every way you feel different, left out, or left behind? I once knew a woman who lost her mother in October and dreaded her first Christmas without her. Everyone kept saying she'd want you to celebrate, and she'd want you to be happy, as if grief operates on a schedule and can be postponed for the holidays. But grief doesn't work that way. Grief is muddy water that needs to settle, and Christmas is someone throwing rocks into that water